Stand by for response.
He did what? That's insane.
Shots fired. Suspect down. Request EMT immediately.
When we talk about PPE, what are we really talking about? PPE is the personal protective equipment that we wear to keep us safe while we do our job. On the medical side of the house, when we talk about PPE, we're talking about gloves, gowns, goggles, and masks. These are the things that are going to keep the patient's icky, nasty stuff off of us, and it's going to keep our icky, nasty stuff off the patient. Generally speaking, PPE works as simple barrier protection. Think of it as a shield. If you're not wearing PPE, all the icky nasties are free to attach to you. With proper PPE, worn properly, the icky nasties have a much harder time getting on us. The trick is to wear it consistently and to wear it properly. The first thing we're going to talk about are gloves. Gloves come in different sizes, shapes, and have all kind of different properties about them. There's sterile gloves, there's non-sterile gloves, there's latex gloves, and then there's latex-free gloves. They each have their own distinct advantages and disadvantages. I'm partial to latex gloves. That's just because I'm old school. But if I wear latex gloves, I have to remember that there are a lot of people out there that have latex allergies. I don't want to be the cause of their allergic reaction. It's generally considered to be bad form if you harm your patient. The other thing about latex gloves is they have a tendency to break down rather quickly, especially if you're outside in the hot weather. They just wear out and you have to change gloves quite frequently. About every 15 minutes if you're in the ambulance or out in the field. Gowns also come in all sizes and shapes. They range from waterproof to semi-waterproof to not waterproof at all. They're made out of a paper or plastic or cloth. Which type of gown you wear is going to really depend on what you're doing. But one of the biggest things about wearing a gown is it's really great. It keeps you from getting stuff on you during the procedure, but you have to be careful when you take it off. A lot of people contaminate themselves when they are doffing the gown. It doesn't do you any good to get the icky nasties off of you during the procedure and then contaminate yourself after the fact. Goggles. Goggles are used just to keep debris out of your eyes. Depending on what you're doing, it's going to depend on what type of goggles that you want to wear. Mostly what we wear goggles for is just simple splash protection. And actually some masks already come with goggles already built into them, so you don't have to get a separate set of goggles. But protect your eyes whenever you can. Masks. Masks are only as good as what they're designed for. With the COVID-19 pandemic, the subject of masks has been about around. It's kind of an us against them, mask wearers against the don't tell me what I have to wear camps. For the record, just let me state that masks work. All right? Doesn't matter what type of mask you have, it's going to be partially effective. It just all depends on the kind of mask that you have. So we're going to start talking about bandanas. A lot of people are wearing bandanas as a face covering to protect them from viruses. Will that protect you from a virus? Absolutely not. Viruses are much too small. They fit right between those little fibers, and any virus that you stop is probably going to be stopped by dumb luck rather than effectiveness of the bandana. But still, it's more protection than none. So if that's all you have, that's what you need to wear. Surgical masks. Okay, they're a little bit better, but they also have their limitations. They're designed to stop particles bigger than about 300 nanometers. Most viruses are smaller than that, especially the COVID-19 virus. It's about 125 nanometers. So will a surgical mask stop a virus? No, it won't. Read the box. It even says so on the box. But what it will stop is whatever the virus is attached to. Most of the times when you cough up, the virus, you're coughing stuff up from your deep lungs, and it's attached to something bigger than 300 nanometers. So you're technically only stopping the virus because you're stopping the bigger thing that it's attached to. All right, now that brings us to the NOSHI approved N95 mask. NOSHI is the National Institute for Occupational Safety and Health. A NOSHI approved N95 mask, the N stands for non-oil resistant, will stop 95% of particles bigger than 300 nanometers. We've already talked about viruses. You know they're a lot smaller than that, but they attach to much bigger things. But an N95 mask has been specifically designed to stop 95% of the particulate matter. That's all well and good, but to properly use an N95 mask, you have to be fit tested. If you've not been fit tested, the chances are you're wearing the mask improperly, and it's still more effective than nothing, but you're not getting the full use out of it. Which brings us to the next point. How do you tell if a mask is an N95 mask or not? It's actually pretty easy. All N95 masks must be marked N95. So if I put you in a room with 10,000 masks and tell you to pick out the N95 mask, just start looking for the ones that have anything printed on them. If it's not printed on it, it's not an N95 mask. And the newer N95 masks, they're actually kind of embossed into the fabric so that you can't counterfeit them as easily. People often ask me, what is a KN95 mask? A KN95 mask is an N95 mask that's made somewhere other than the United States. The K stands for the country of origin, and in this case, K stands for China. So these are N95 masks that are made in China and subject to their testing and their approvals, not ours. To demonstrate the effectiveness of an N95 mask versus a bandana, Dominic and I are going to use some CS gas. We're going to spray it on the bandana, hold it up to our faces, smell it, see if we can smell it. And then we're going to spray it on the N95 mask, hold it up to our faces, and try and smell it. Ought to be fun to watch. Let me know what you think. So what we're going to test is the effectiveness of an N95 mask versus a bandana in stopping CS gas. Now, CS gas is a much bigger particle than a virus. Okay, so if it doesn't stop this, there's no chance it's going to stop the virus. So you'll hold that, fold it kind of like you would fold it if you were going to rob a bank. Then we're going to spray just the outside of it. Let's get on each other. Okay, now turn it the other way. Now hold it up and see if you smell it. Oh yeah. Yeah, not effective at all. Now here's an N95 mask. That's right. Yeah, but you can breathe it in and it doesn't hurt. It hurts a little bit, but much more effective. All right, so that's our test. McCuzy Tactical will do anything to prove a point. The N95 did stop a bunch of the CS, which is probably about 400 nanometers, as opposed to a virus, which is about 125. So, pretty good.